So I'm back in the studio after the holidays, and I guess it's time to figure out what projects I want to work on in 2026. I made this list and it doesn't look very long, but I think I still need to figure out priorities because I always run out of time and energy. I guess the two main things are my solo project and this band I'm in. With the solo project, I released an album last year, so I guess for this year the goal will be to play it live. And the band is called Conservative Parents, and we've also just finished recording our debut album, and I'm almost done mixing it, so I need to finish up on that and then we'll release it. And then I guess the goal for 2026 will also be a live show. So those are the main two things. The problem is that I hate organizing shows. Probably everyone does, but in the past, whenever we had gigs, it would be either that someone invites us, like another band, or somebody else in the band would take up the organizing bit. So I don't know. I guess it'll be like a hurdle to overcome this year. Then there's a couple of extra things, like I've been listening to this early stuff I released in like 2018, and I kind of like the sound, and I'd like to revisit it and maybe use limited gear like I had back then. I think that could be kind of fun, but I'm not sure if I'll have time for that, because if I focus on too many things, then I'll lose momentum. And then there's a couple of DIY things that I want to do, which sort of leads us to the next thing I want to talk about. So I want to do a bit of an inventory of the studio and figure out what works and what doesn't. This is the main things I used for the solo project. So the Digitakt serves as a drum machine and the centerpiece, I guess. It plays drum samples and bass loops. And it also sequences MIDI notes that go into this Korg Minilogue. This is my current pedal board. It's a bit knackered and it's a bit too small, so it would be nice to build a new one, but I would also like it to fit into the same bag as this one, so that might limit the size. And then if I can't make it any bigger, then maybe there's no point in building a new one. I could also just get a smaller Big Muff maybe, and then perhaps everything would fit a bit better, but I'm kind of attached to this. And there's also this huge reverb tank, and I like the way it sounds, but I have yet to try it out live, and I'm afraid that because it's like really prone to feedback and sensitive to vibrations and stuff, it might not be very usable on like a wooden stage, but we'll have to see. And then everything comes out of this stereo delay into these two amps, this Fender Pro Junior I think it's from the 90s, like maybe the very first edition. I guess it works for now. And the other one is Vox AC10. And Voxes are supposed to be chimey, but I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm getting a lot of chime from it. But since both of these only have 10-inch speakers, I bought this extension cap for the Vox. I just found it in a sort of like a pawn shop, and it was a decent deal, and has a 12-inch Celestion in it, but it's a vintage 30, which I think they're meant for metal and stuff, so maybe it's not the like ideal choice, but I don't know. I think it's a bit better. Maybe I'll upgrade to like a greenback or something, but at the same time, I kind of want to use what I have and not buy new gear this year, so we'll see. And this is my sort of modding, fixing workshop space, and I have this parts caster that I built. I made the body myself, and the rest is sort of bolt-on parts. I had Filtertron pickups in this before, but they were too dark for what I wanted. This is tuned like a baritone, by the way. So I also had these toaster pickups lying around. They're not like real toaster pickups like in a Rickenbacker, because they're humbuckers actually, but they're splittable, so I'm trying to wire them in as single coils, but I ended up not finishing this last year because I messed up the wiring. Like, I got the wrong color codes for the 4 wires that come out of these, so I'll have to revisit it this year. And these are my guitars. It looks like a lot, but I only really use 3. This is my main Jag. It's a Squier classic vibe. All stock except for the pickup covers. So I use this for standard tuning. I use this Jazzmaster for baritone stuff. It's also a Squier, but I think it's the vintage modified earlier sort of version. And I like it, but especially with these amps that I'm using and all my current setup, and with the drop tuning, it sounds a bit muddy. There's some sort of a low mid buildup or something. And Jazzmasters are supposed to be like really bright, but I have this Strat that I used to use as a baritone, and it's still currently tuned as a baritone, and I much prefer the sound of it because it's very scooped and very bright, and when you tune down you get this sort of spaghetti western sort of sound. I thought the Jazzmaster would sound pretty much the same, but it doesn't. The problem is that I really dislike Strats, like the way they look and the fact that you can't play behind the bridge and they're not as comfortable and stuff. So I guess my ideal guitar for baritone tuning would be a Jazzmaster with maybe Strat pickups, or maybe something in between, like maybe Jaguar pickups. So that's why I'm messing around with that, trying to find the sort of ideal pickups for baritone tuning. So I guess that's another thing I'd like to figure out this year. And this is my old Affinity Telly that I refinished in black. It used to be like a butterscotch blonde, but I don't know. I think the color was too dark for what it's meant to be. So this is what I'd use if I wanted to revisit that old project that I mentioned. Oh yeah, and the other main guitar that I sometimes use with the band is this bass. It's a jazz bass copy, and it sounds really nice. I have Elixir strings on it, so it's like really bright and jangly, and yeah, I really like it. And then there's this, a Beatle bass copy. It's really fun to play, but for some reason it just never sounds right in the mix for me, so I rarely end up actually using it, but it's nice to have. So that's kind of it for today. I guess I'll practice my solo stuff for a while and then see you the day after tomorrow. So for today, I guess I'd like to really lock in and practice my solo set. I'm still fiddling with the volume levels of all the different elements, so I need to get that down. And then I guess focus on the vocals, because that's the area of most issues. So I went through the set like 3 times and even more times on some of the songs, and I keep tweaking little things here and there, and it's super tiring, let me tell you, but I think it went well overall. There's still little things to adjust, I guess, but I'll listen back to it, give myself feedback, so to speak. So yeah, I guess that's it for today. So I've listened to the recordings, and let's just say I definitely need more practice, but part of the problem is that I can't really hear the vocals that well in the recording, and it's because this mic goes into this mixer here together with the Digitakt and the synth. And once it's recorded, I can't really adjust it because everything gets summed together and then that goes into the interface. I do have a spare input there, I think, that I could plug the microphone into to have a separate track, but for now I think maybe I'll just pan the microphone towards one side, everything else towards the other side, and that will effectively put the backing tracks and the vocals on two different tracks. So I think I did better today, but basically all I want to do is just say the right words at the right pitch, but even that seems to require quite a lot of practice. So I guess I have a goal for the time being, and I guess that's it for this week.